Hello folks, welcome to another edition of BC Renovation Magazine. In this video I'm going to show you how I build this trellis slash screen. Stick around. Okay, so folks, those of you that have been following along with us on this project, you will remember that there was a carport here. It was a covered deck and a carport, and we've tore that down. The carport was quite small, and we wanted to change the way this was in here. The carport was really not wide enough to get a door open when you're in there with your car. It was really tight, and we wanted to get these stairs coming down to this area here. So before, the side of the carport was here, and it screened this ugly old meter shed here. So that's the shed that has all the power meters in for this street. So there's, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them in there. I made a video that showed you what's inside that little shed, but it's kind of ugly. That thing it's all leaning and crooked, and it's not nice to look at. And so when you park your car here on the driveway, this is where you're going to get out, and then you're going to walk through here and then up the stairs and then up into the house. And so I wanted to screen this, and I have to be a little bit careful here. We can't build fences in this park. That fence that was there, you see back there, was here, and that's actually an illegal fence. But the park manager told us that if we just leave it, it'd be okay. Sort of a grandfathered thing. Neighbor and I actually wanted to take that fence down and put in a solid panel, but park manager said no. So now I'm going to screen this here, and I'm using those trellises that I showed you up there, those things with the leaves. And so I've prepared this. Now I had to dig some holes, so I've got 3 holes dug here. And basically what's going to happen here now is in between each of these posts is going to be 2 of those panels with the trellis panels, which are still going to leave it quite open, but it's going to be kind of like a peekaboo look at that through at that meter shed there. So that way we're not looking right at it. It's not right in our face, and it gives a nice little architectural feature here. That looks nice. Down this area here is going to get paved with those pavers that you see at the back there. So that's going to kind of be the next thing that we're going to get into here. And then you could put some pots on the pavers and have some plants grow up into the trellis, to give it a bit more of a thicker screen. So we're allowed to screen with landscaping, but they don't really want us to build structures. So this is okay. We don't have a problem with that. So I'm just using 4x4 posts, and I've got 3 of them in here. And in the bottom, you can see how this kind of slopes, and it slopes down into that area there where the doors are to go into that shed. So I'm gonna have to do a step in the landscaping here, and so that's why I have these timbers. Those timbers aren't attached yet. I've just got them in there with with those straps, and I've got them cinched up so that they're in place. But they will, once I get my concrete poured, I'm going to mix up some concrete now and pour in these holes. I'm going to dig those down in a little bit into the ground, and then probably put a second timber on top of that to create a little bit of a retaining wall. And then at the end there, I'm going to blend it in and make probably a little bit of a box planter or something there to put a feature plant, so that when you're up here on the deck looking down, it will be a nice specimen plant there, some kind of a specimen tree in a little landscape box in that corner over there. But so these posts look tall. I've just left them wild, for length. And once I get my concrete and get this all set, then I'll trim those to where I want them. But yeah, that's kind of where we're going here. And then that will leave them this little area here. They can go in past the post here and in between the trellis, to get into their meter shed. And again, at the end there, we'll make a place to put a nice specimen plant. Something that looks really nice for this area here, which is going to be the front door area. So we're trying to increase the curb appeal here. You have to be careful when you're doing these kind of projects, to sell. If you're doing them for yourself and you're going to live here, it's no problem. But you know, when you're doing it to sell, your return on investment on your landscaping is like 5%. So what we're doing here is a little bit of landscaping to improve the curb appeal. Return on an investment in curb appeal is much more, it's much higher. So you know, you want to spend money on increasing the curb appeal, but you know, there's a line you cross where, you know, if you spend too much money on the landscaping, you're not going to get your money back out of it. And you know, that's, again, that's just in a situation where we're buying and selling. So yeah, so I'm going to mix up some concrete now and put it in these holes and let it dry overnight. And then in the morning, you know, then I'll carry on and, you know, work on getting these trellises in. All right, so I'm just mixing up concrete here to put in my post holes. And so what I use for this is, you can buy this ready mixed stuff. Well, it's pre-mixed stuff. I don't know what they call it. It's just a mix, concrete mix. And you know, this particular one's called Quickcrete. There's Readycrete. There's various names, but what this is a little sack of, you know, dried. It's dry mix, and all you do is add water to it, and it makes your concrete. Really simple way to deal with these little projects like this. You know, you don't have to call in a mixer truck or anything like that for these little projects. And so, you know, you just dump it in the wheelbarrow there, and put some water in it, mix it up, and you know, you want to get it kind of the right consistency. So you can kind of see what I got there, and then you just shovel it down in the hole. So I got my first one is filled. There it is. And you know, I'm on to my next one, and I've got 3 of those to do. And I find it takes about a bag and a half to do a hole, fill a hole. All right, I'm gonna keep going here with this, folks, and I'll show you in a little bit where I'm at. Alright, so that's the end of the day for me on this one, folks. So I've got my concrete all poured there, and we're going to let it set overnight, and then tomorrow we'll go back to work on, you know, the rest of the frame here. And I've just got these braces on here temporarily that you see here, these angle braces, and that's just to keep everything plumb for overnight while the concrete sets up. And when you're doing these kind of jobs, you know, if you're interested in having things look nice and you know, be nice, which you know, I kind of am, you take a little bit of time and you get things lined up. So you can see here that I have a string on the ground, and that's my reference line that I've been working to here. And you want to make sure, I got a little rock there, so you want to make sure that your line is always free. And so how I line this up, it's always nice when you have things, you know, lined up. When things are kind of put in helter-skelter up and down, it doesn't look nice, it doesn't look professional. And so, you know, you always want to get things lined up. So how I determined where I was going to put this here was I wanted to have it parallel with the deck. And so you know, I built the new deck here, and I know that, you know, the deck is parallel to the mobile home. And so what I did was I dropped down with my level, placed a stake in the ground there. It's that one there. I did the same thing on the other end of the deck. All right, so now those stakes over here, here's one here, and these stakes are now lined up with the edge of the deck. And then I measured off of that stake. I used the level to plumb them in, and then I just measure over from the stake to, you know, set a stake here to put my string on, and measured the same distance, you know, down here and at the other end. And so now I know that the string is parallel to the deck. Now the reason that I have it offset from the trellis here is, you know, to give me room to work. So then I just measured, you know, 1 foot from the string to my posts, each of my 3 posts, and then I just plumbed up from there, and then plumbed it sideways. I have these timbers in here, you know, just temporarily to hold it at the correct spacing. I need 50.5 inches between the posts for my trellises to sit inside. And then up here I just have a piece of scrap lumber that I'm putting just to hold it apart at 50.5 inches, and so that keeps everything straight now while my concrete sets up overnight. In the morning I'll take these all off, and then I'll have I'll have everything straight and proper and ready to go, and everything should just fit in there quite nicely. All right, folks, so it's the next day. My concrete set up in my post holes there, and I've installed my 4x6. So these are 4 inches wide and 6 inches tall, so it's the same width as the 4x4 post. And this is my little retaining wall. So I got one that's going down in the ground, and then I've got this one you know, sort of to take up the extra stuff. And so I just did a mock-up here with my little bricks. This is what I'm going to pave this area down here with. And so the top of these bricks are going to be even with the top of the asphalt there. So I'm still going to have to come up, you know, about an inch. I allowed about an inch here for sand underneath to level my bricks. And so you can see that when I get all done, my bricks will be up, you know, come up onto this top timber here. And again, I'm just screwing this all together with 3-inch ceramic coated deck screws. And so these are the ones here. You have to use a coated screw when you're working with this treated lumber, because it has to be ACQ rated. Okay, so you can see on here again, it's ACQ rated. Otherwise, the preservative in the wood will corrode your screws and actually eat them up. And so now I've trimmed, you know, I've trimmed up the top of my posts, and just kind of, you know, designing as I go here. I think I'm going to probably top that with some solar lighting. But you can see how this has come together in here. You know, this doesn't show on the video, I don't think, but it comes out flat from the door here, and then there's quite a slope up. So, you know, that's why we had to put those timbers in there for retaining wall. And so now, you know, they've got good access in here to get to this meter shed. So how am I going to fasten these panels in? So these panels, you know, again, I'm just salvaging these are, you know, these were here, and I'm just reusing stuff. And they have these little nubs on the bottom and the top. And so what I'm going to do with this is I've nailed, or not nailed, but I've drilled some corresponding holes in my timber in the bottom here. And so you can see there's one there and one there, and I'm putting 2 panels in each section. And so I'm just going to set the panel in, and those little nubbies will sit in the holes. And then I'll do the same thing at the top. I'm going to have a stretcher board going across from, you know, from post to post on top, which will again be drilled and hold the top of the panel in. And I think that's probably going to be enough. We'll see, you know, once I get it together. So now I've drilled these, so I'm going to put some preservative in here. I'm just going to dab some preservative in there, make sure that, you know, it preserves it. You know, this is sitting on the bottom here. If you're watering or cleaning or whatever, water is going to get in there if it rains. I've cut the tops of the posts, so I'm going to be putting some wood preservative, you know, on that end cut up there, so that you know, any water that gets in there, it's not going to sit on the top of the post and rot it. With the solar lights, there's not going to be a lot of there won't be a lot of water sitting in there. The solar light pretty much protects the top of the post. All right, so I'm going to get my panels in, and then I'll show you how that looks. Alright, so this little project is done. I've got my panels all inserted, and you can see my header board across the top there. You can see how I've topped each post there with solar light, so at night those are going to come on automatically. And you can see how, you know, we just wanted to take your eye away from that meter shed there, because it's not the best looking thing. And this park doesn't want us to really build anything that's like solid, like a wall. They like us to use landscaping, you know, to screen things. And so eventually, you know, these are the bricks that are going to be here, these pavers that are going to pave this area. So you can kind of start to see now how my little entranceway is going to come into place here. You know, the new steps to go up there. Our deck's going to have 6x6 posts, and then it'll be covered, and we'll have black railing between the posts. The pavers are going to stretch across to, you know, about this point, and then we're going to have a landscape area, so we'll be able to plant plants along here on each side of the step, and similar on this side over here. The pavers will come straight through underneath the steps, just so the foot of the steps sit on it. And so then we'll have a nice planting area here for some plants. So next up is going to be, I need to do something with this area here. And I've got an idea. I'm going to build a sort of like a box planter here with some timbers. So yeah, stay tuned, folks. That's going to be the next video if you're interested in this landscaping kind of stuff. What I'm doing now is what we call hard landscaping. So this is the you know, all of the stuff that you do before you actually start to plant plants. But yeah, that's that little project. So how much did that cost? Well, the materials, you know, the concrete and the posts and the timbers and the lights up on top there, I've got about $250 Canadian into that material. Now the trellises, these are metal, and I had these, you know, like I said before, I salvaged them from the other side of the house that they were here. If you were to buy those, you know, you'd be looking at about I don't know, $40–50 a piece. And so, you know, we got 4 of them. So you know, but I like to find old stuff or use old stuff and just, you know, repurpose it. And you know, it's kind of a good way to, you know, protect our environment and all that. But so yeah, so the materials for this, if you had to buy the trellises and everything, you'd be looking at, you know, $450–500, you know, Canadian dollars. So that's what that costs. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.